All right, welcome into the college football half of Weekend Rewind. I'm Nick Wiggins, and I'm joined by Roger Schultz, former Alabama center, runner-up on season 5 of The Biggest Loser. Hey, what's going on with Jillian Michaels? I hear there's some beef there.
Hey, look, I think she's trying to bring receipts, right? That's the big thing today, bring receipts. And I think she's trying to bring some receipts, so we'll see what happens. There's always two sides to every story, right? Or maybe there's a third. We just don't know. But
sure,
it's interesting after that document's come out, kind of how everybody's spun it. So
yeah, for sure. Now, look, we are going to be doing our Week 0 recap. Just a few games to cover on this edition. But Roger, you were actually at the FCS Kickoff with Mercer taking on UC Davis, but we didn't really get an ending to that game. What happened there?
Well, lightning, and then basically we were in lightning delays for a long time. About 7:49 left in the game when it had lightning delays. You know, Mercer and UC Davis, both ranked teams in FCS football, so it's the FCS class. So it's an important game, right, for both teams to see where they end up at playoff time. So to end it in a no contest is kind of the best. Or we would have been playing at 2 or 3 o'clock, and I don't know. The storm was just hovering, and I was there working, and we just sit there just waiting, and then they named it the no contest. It's interesting though, because I've seen people kind of respond. It's kind of traveled all the way from California to Montgomery, and this is what we get. Nothing. The stats don't count. By the way, if anybody wants an MVP trophy or the game trophy from the game, we're gonna put them out on auction, so they're for sale.
Okay, there you go.
Raise a little money. I mean, trophies are out there if you want them, people. So I'd just say it.
All right.
Yeah.
What's the starting bid for the MVP trophy go for?
Yeah, I think probably about $3,000. So if you want to be the MVP of the FCS 25 kickoff, $3,000, it's yours. So
all right.
And you go say, hey, I was the MVP.
There was
no contest. Yeah. So
all right. Well, Roger, let's look at some of the FBS games from Week 0. Farmageddon, the big one, the longest running consecutive rivalry in all of college football. But it's actually going to come to an end in 2027. So this is the last, we might be getting the last bit of it here. And this is also, Kansas State, they won the Pop-Tart Bowl 2 years ago. Iowa State won the Pop-Tart Bowl last year. So you had all those crazy little Pop-Tart mascots out there on the field. But Iowa State, they end up beating Kansas State 24-21. And man, I'll say this. Like, I get that we're trying to expand the game of American football by going to all these different fields in Brazil, for the NFL, and in Dublin for college football. But why is it? I mean, they need to get their turfs and their fields up to snuff. Ooh. You can't see the lines. People are slipping everywhere. I mean, you would just think if we are going to make it this big special kickoff event, I feel like London, they do a pretty good job for the NFL, but all the other fields, it's like a coin toss.
And the difference between the NFL and the NCAA doing it, the NFL puts the fields in where they play Super Bowls, where they play in Mexico, London, Germany. The NFL has a turf team and a turf people, and it's got. I mean, obviously, it's a huge investment, right? The NFL, these valuable players out there, so they make an investment in that. Obviously, when you watch the game yesterday, Farmageddon, a lot of like I really didn't see a line on the field. I have no idea what was going on, but it was a good game. And really, I mean, I thought Kansas. I was watching the game. I had to leave probably about towards the end of the third quarter because I had to go. I had a job to do with the FCS kickoff, so I eventually had to leave and didn't get to see the end of it. But it really, my thought was, and I liked Kansas State. Like we're going to do our predictions on our playoffs and stuff like that. And I probably would have had. By the way, the sample you sent me had Kansas State in it, and I probably. Not going to rule them out, but obviously with the loss to Iowa State, that kind of knocks them out of the contention for the Big 12. I mean, they're behind the 8 ball, right?
Yeah.
But they looked really good. I thought they were moving. And then, of course, the quarterback's dad, Avery Johnson's dad, gets in some kind of fight. It looks like it was a player's. The guy had a number 2 on his shirt. So
you see? You didn't see who the dad was fighting?
Who was he fighting?
His brother.
Oh, that was his brother?
The quarterback's uncle.
Oh, they were fighting. Oh, really?
Yeah, so they had to put out like an apology saying, hey, we're sorry. This is not, a well representation of us and our family, and we apologize to the school and the student athletes. Yeah, it was a A little inter-family brawl.
I thought it was funny. I was like, what the heck? I mean, I thought it was like a receiver's dad, because the guy got up and it had like number 2. I can't remember the quarterback's number, but it was like a number 2. And I'm like, well, it's got to be a receiver. He's mad because, they threw a ball or whatever, intercepted, hung him out to dry, and he got tattooed or whatever. But yeah, it's, family, I like it. First of all, I think I liked it, my family fights. I think that's a good sign. I think I want that kind of characteristic in my quarterback.
Yeah. All right.
But Rocco Beck, he looks like a tough guy. He'll fight. Of course, we all know who his dad is.
He looked great, or he looked really good last year, and then they lose their 2 wide receivers both to the Houston Texans. So I was curious as to how the passing game was going to look, and I don't think the rain really did them any favors over there in Dublin. But I mean, for Kansas State, probably the worst possible way to start your season. You're going to return the punt with your star running back, Edwards, who we're all thinking is going to be leading this team to maybe the playoff, like you were saying earlier. And then you muff the punt. You get injured as well, so we don't even see you the rest of the game. Just horrific. But, I mean, I don't know. That was just – it looked like preseason football. Like, we're still trying to figure out how to play, because they couldn't even take advantage of – didn't they get the ball at, like, the 15-yard line off that muff punt, and then they fumbled it and gave the ball right back.
Well, and sloppy conditions, right? Back to what we talked about with the field, and wet, terrible balls were flying off of receivers' hands. Quarterbacks were hitting. It was kind of a mess. It's like you said, it's the first game of the season, right? And what's the analogy that we all use? You get better from game 1 to game 2. Yeah. Well, we'll see what happens. But yeah, it was a little sloppy. And then, like I said, we had the FCS kickoff, and it's like, well, it's just a practice game now. It didn't even count. Nothing counts. Well, what are we, the NFL now that we have preseason games? And I'm like, well, probably. I don't know. Yeah, it's so funny, though. It's funny, the negative response to the FCA kickoff is. But what was interesting, so it started raining, and we have those LED lights. And so we played Purple Rain and put the purple lights on. And it was just empty stadium. I don't know. Little stadium humor for just us, the 7 people that were there. So,
I'm sure you guys got a kick out of that. Yeah. So that game's not going to be replayed, though. That FCS game.
No, it's done. It's a no contest. There's there's no winner, no loser. But I mean, both these teams are ranked, right? I think UC Davis was ranked 9th and Mercer was ranked 11th. So it's 2 ranked teams. So it may have a bearing on kind of the playoff. That's why they had to call it no contest, or whether they weren't just going to say, okay, they're going to win, or because Mercer was coming back in the game. So not to say they would have won it or tied it, but it was work out both of them. They both got a chance to have a glorified scrimmage
at
the end of the day, right? I mean, they'll learn a bunch from it.
Yeah. Well, look, I'll be completely honest with you, Roger. I'm not too tapped into Mercer and UC Davis, who locked in on their rosters, but I am very intrigued and excited to see what UNLV could do this year. When you look at these, we know we're going to have at least one group of 5 team in this 12-team playoff, right? Even though the seeding, they fixed that, you're still going to have that one conference champion, whoever's the highest ranked. And UNLV was another kind of big favorite, popular pick to maybe be that. And you got Dan Mullen out there running the show now. And I thought he was a defensive guy, but UNLV, it didn't look like they could do anything defensively. They still won, winning 38-31 against the Idaho State Bengals. What do you think? What do you think about Dan Mullen over there at UNLV?
Well, I like that Dan Mullen's at UNLV, and Dan Mullen's an offensive guy. That's what he's known for. He developed Dak Prescott, and he's done a good job with all these quarterbacks. And I think Tim Tebow, Dak Prescott. So he is a offensive guy. So you expect their offense to be good, maybe a little lacking on defense, because the coach that was the coach there last year is now the coach at Purdue. I think it's Purdue, right? And I slip in my mind, but he's a defensive coach. Okay. So you come in and, you had the go-go offense last year, and now that coach is at like Sacramento State.
Oh, so, I'm getting confused. I'm thinking of Will Muschamp. I don't know why. Yeah. I'm getting confused with Muschamp. Is Will Muschamp, where is he at right now?
I think he's working the drive-through at Zaxby's.
Okay. I think he might be a defensive analyst for Georgia.
He was, but I don't think he is anymore.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, that was a big question, I think, at SEC Media Days. They were like, hey, where's Will Muschamp? He's he's taking a step back. I guess because his son plays quarterback somewhere. I think he's stepping back to maybe just go watch his son play some ball.
Okay. Yeah. I remember Kirby Smart making the joke saying that he was going to give Nick Saban Muschamps role. I think that's what the joke was over there in Atlanta. Yeah, well, we'll see. I mean, we'll see. I think for UNLV, I mean, look, you've played. Like, remember last year when NIU beat Notre Dame? That was like the big wake-up moment for Notre Dame. I feel like, is there any way that this could kind of be close to that, but you didn't get the L? You know what I'm saying? Like, you still got the W on your schedule, but you're feeling it as if it was a loss, and you're not happy with it at all.
Well, no, those are the best wins, right? When you play like crap, you play terrible, but you find a way to win and you win the ball game. That's the best feeling in the world, because, hey, are these fixable? Some things aren't fixable if there's a talent difference, but if you know you got the talent and you look at it and the mistakes you made, they're fixable mistakes. That's why I talked about, I mean, the old cliche, you get better from week 1 to week 2. Now they got a game under their belt. Yep. They can kind of fix the problems and see what's going on. So if they're fixable things, that's the best victory ever, is when you lose. I mean, when you win the game and you play like crap, right? I mean, that's a good sign for UNLV.
Yeah. So let's not overreact to week 1. I know that's kind of what we're kind of here to do.
We're stretching a little bit with the UNLV.
Yeah, right. But UNLV,
Idaho State Bengals.
Are we still thinking that they are one of the contenders of the group of 5 moving forward?
No.
Okay.
I don't. I mean, I look at the group of 5 contenders, the teams that I look at. I think obviously Boise State, obviously at the top of the list, and not to give anything away, but when we see our rankings, you may understand why I say that. Yeah. Obviously, John Summerall is one of the hottest coaches on everybody's wish list. That's down at Tulane doing a good job. I think Tulane could be a team that I think, let's look at somebody from the Sun Belt. I mean, Sun Belt's a great overall, the Sun Belt's a great conference, top to bottom, real competitive. I think James Madison is a team that could make a charge for that. I'm intrigued to see, believe it or not, what Southern Miss does, because basically it's Marshall of the South. Right. They got the head coach for Marshall, and they brought, I don't know the exact number of players, a bunch of players.
However many it was, it made it where they weren't even able to play their bowl game because they couldn't field a roster. So,
right.
I think Huff brought over at least 30 players.
Yeah, no, at least 30. Yeah, and he didn't bring the bad ones.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, he didn't bring the bad ones. He ain't stupid. So Southern Miss is a team that could be intriguing. And then, of course, there's always Troy, Alabama, Appalachian State. And there's a lot of buzz in the Sun Belt world that Georgia Southern might be the team. They say App might be a little down, and Georgia Southern might be the team. So we'll see how the Sun Belt.
I remember I went to the South Alabama Georgia Southern game where South Alabama choked in like the final 5 minutes last year. And Georgia Southern had some big white dude at wide receiver, number 15, 13. And he was doing everything, man.
Yeah.
So I don't know if he's still there, but if so, then I can see how Georgia Southern.
Well, if he's really good, if he was really good, he's probably not still there.
I guess you're probably right. Yeah, that's how
I would just assume
he's works now.
Yeah. He's probably not still there. So
yeah, or maybe he just wasn't that good.
Yeah, because I remember watching Lopez, the quarterback for South, in that game, and he's no longer there. Right. He's with Belichick, so we'll see how that goes. But
yeah, and we'll see if how we're feeling about North Carolina and Bill Belichick if they pop up in our playoff prediction.
Well, what's funny is we're getting ready for the season and the buzz that everybody's talking about the teams that they like. Is Ohio State, obviously Michigan talk because of all the stuff that came out, which is absolutely a nothing burger. I mean, Sherrone Moore wins more games not coaching than he does coaching. I mean, he gets suspended all the time. I don't know, but you haven't heard a lot of talk about North Carolina. You heard a lot in this early part of the summer and the season with his girlfriend, but you never heard much about what's going on with Coach Belichick and the team and how it's going to be. But of course, 2 guys that I'm very familiar with and played at the University of Freddie Kitchens is offensive coordinator. Yeah. Will Friend is his offensive line coach. So there's an Alabama tie to North Carolina. So it'll be interesting. And plus Belichick and Saban are good buddies. I mean, so it's going to be.
Now, I do think that the Belichick North Carolina experiment will work out. I don't know if we're going to get that immediate success in year 1. Maybe we're making a bowl game, but I don't know if we're making the playoff or anything like that.
Oh, no. I don't think they're going to make a playoff. It's going to take him time. He's going to figure it out. He's first of all, he's a great coach, right? We know he's a great coach, great X's and O's coach. And now he's going to have to, that's why I hired Lombardi to be the GM and kind of handle all the recruiting and stuff like that. Even on his radio show, like I'm not going to do the weekly radio show. Lombardi's going to do it. I got to scheme. I got to draw plays.
Sure.
I got to get these guys ready. So,
well, look, one of the other games there on week 0, Kansas, they defeat Fresno State at their newly renovated stadium. They win 31-7. They get back their superstar quarterback. He was fielding a lot of offers to maybe transfer somewhere else, but Jalen Daniels, they keep him. He looks like Jaden Daniels for the Washington Commanders, the way that he was carving up Fresno State. And then you know who Fresno State's quarterback is, right? You know the relation there, don't you?
No.
Fresno State's quarterback, E.J. Warner, son of Kurt Warner.
Who was at Temple.
Yeah.
Transferred over to Fresno State, so that's good. But yeah, in that game, I like Kansas. I like Kansas. I like what they're doing. There's a couple guys I know that are on that staff at Kansas, and Jalen, he's always played well, but he always gets hurt. He gets hurt. He's been hurt the last 2 seasons. So hopefully, if he can stay healthy, but I know he had some personal. I think it was Jordan Palmer or whatever trained him during the off season during the summer to try to work on his delivery. He said there's a lot of things he had to do mechanically to get better as a quarterback for throwing. Obviously, he can run. He's got the legs. And the thing is, too, the offensive coordinator that was there 2 years ago, is the offensive coordinator at Penn State now, who really dialed into using Jalen's assets, his legs and stuff like that. So now that he can throw on top of his running ability, I think that's good for Kansas. Maybe Kansas. Yeah. I mean, look, at the end of the day, the Big 12 is wide open. Big 12, a competitive from top to bottom. Now, they're not elite, like the SEC's elite and Big Ten's elite, but top to bottom, man, that's a very competitive league.
Yeah, as I was thinking about, how going through my playoff teams and looking at week 0, I think the Big 12 definitely behind the SEC, but it might be the conference I'm most interested in watching this
every
season.
Week. It's going to be good. The Big 12, because what's interesting about the Big 12, you got, by the way, Arizona State to pick last year or second to last, ended up winning that conference, making the playoffs, got a first round bye. I'm glad that's taken away. Whatever.
Yes.
I'm glad that's taken away. But Arizona State did it. So who knows? I really like BYU in this conference. And then, of course, everybody's going to be looking at Texas Tech because of the investment. The money they literally have one of the best paid rosters in college football. I mean, right up there with the Ohio States and the Alabama, or, they got a rock. So it's interesting. So there's kind of two dynamics when we talk about this. When we look at the ACC and Clemson and Dabo, right? So they're predicted to finish strong, win the ACC, get the playoffs. And a lot of people have predicted to be in the championship game. I might be one of them, just saying. But we'll let you know later. But but how Dabo's kind of done it, right? He's, hey, we're going to pay these guys fair and equitable. We're not getting in the port. Just kind of how he's done his model to how Texas Tech. It's like two extremes. So it's going to be interesting to watch how those play out this year, both those teams. I'm interested. I kind of pulling for Clemson more than I am Texas Tech because, if you just throw money at it and it fixes it, gosh, I hate that but it's tough on everybody because these coaches will now go to the aid. Hey, I need more money. You see I need money. Well, you still got to coach them. You still got to coach them up.
There's so many ways to go. I was talking to Drew Fabianich over there at the Senior Bowl not too long ago. He was the GM at West Virginia and Auburn there for a little bit. And, I asked him, basically look at Texas Tech. Can you just throw money at a situation and resolve it that quickly? And he just straight up said, because of the way that these players move and what, makes them move, he said, yeah, Texas Tech should be really good this year. I mean, they're going to have one of the best rosters. But then you have look at Florida State. They went and tried to fill all their needs out of the portal, and then they go 2-10, right? That's the whole worst case scenario.
Yeah, there has to be a team unity, a buy-in. If you just got guys looking at paychecks and seeing who's getting more and something, because in the end of the day, it divides the like. Remember when Texas A&M and Jimbo Fisher paid all that money for that freshman class that ended up number the highest rated signing class ever, and they got there and nobody could figure out how they're getting paid. They didn't get paid. Those guys couldn't contribute. It was the locker room. It was a cancer. It was terrible. So there's a fine balance. I think people are trying to figure out what that balance is to where I can get guys in, fit, and it looks like Dabo's trying to do that. He's trying to find guys that fit his culture and kind of believe in what he believes in to plug them in and not to change everything. So that's why I'm saying the dynamic between what Clemson's doing, what Texas Tech is doing, and I think everybody else is kind of doing a little hybrid method. And you heard Jim Nagy, who was a Senior Bowl executive, he's now the GM or whatever he is at Oklahoma, and how I've listened to him talk a lot, and how he is trying to present this balance of that. Hey, if you're a starter, you get this. If you're a left tackle, it's like,
and that's
kind
what
of
Bill
slotting in the
doing.
NFL. Yeah. It's
Salary
like slotting in the yeah. Well, you got to, right? I mean, at the end of the because there's people that's thrown a lot of money to a quarterback that didn't do anything, and you're like, well, that just creates. I don't know what DJ Ungale got paid or whatever, but that must have been that was like, you paying this guy? What are you? Oh my. That could be why you went 2-10 or whatever.
That would be one of those things that doesn't pass through the clearinghouse moving forward, I would bet, with DJU. I don't know if the services are being rendered from him. I don't know if he's playing quarterback well enough to receive this NIL.
Yeah.
But he didn't look too bad in that Chargers preseason game. But I don't know. We'll see what Florida State can do, because now their quarterback, he's talking a lot of smack to Alabama, really hyping up that week.
Well, what's interesting about is he went to Central Florida with Malzahn, and then he went to Boston College, and he had a couple good. I mean, I watched him play. He had a couple good games, and now he just loved it. He's all full of himself. So I mean, I do not mind confidence in my quarterback, but I also like reality in my quarterback. So that's kind of we'll know in 6 days, won't we?
That's right. It's coming up quick. That's supposed to be a really rainy game, so we'll see what Bama can do without their starting running back. But
they got running backs. I mean, they got running backs.
They got running backs.
They got running backs. Be okay.
That's right.
That's what we lost a couple of running backs when I was out, and they go, well, I mean, it's like, hey, man, it's not
next man up.
I mean, let's go. It's somebody. Hey, we had, Bobby Humphrey got hurt in 1988, and Murray Hill, all little 5'6", 5'7" of himself, made the all SEC team. Just saying.
There you go.
Might have been that line. Just might have been that offensive line.
Might have been the guy snapping the ball. Who knows?
Definitely could have been that guy.
Well, look, there was one more game on week 0. That was Hawaii defeating Stanford 23-20. Frank Reich, he's now the head coach.
Is he cashed it in? Is he really coaching? What's he doing? Just standing on the sideline wearing a shirt?
I don't know.
You question how he coached the game?
They started out going 10. They were up 10-0. I thought, okay, hey, maybe Frank Reich, Andrew Luck, maybe there's something special here. But no, Hawaii and their kicker from Japan. Have you heard the story about that?
Yeah, he learned it on YouTube.
Just learned it on YouTube. And
Nick, you got a chance. Nick,
maybe I think I still have some eligibility, but and apparently he didn't even speak English until 3 years ago.
He went to junior college to learn English. I can tell you, I've been to some of them junior colleges. I don't know what kind of that's some questionable English you're learning.
Yeah. So. Sure. But yeah, Hawaii, they win 23-20, and over there in the Mountain West, right? Are they in the MAC? Are they in the MAC or the Mountain West?
Mountain West.
Mountain West, yeah. That's where it's even like all the potential favorites for these Group of 5 playoff teams are. Boise State's in there, UNLV's in there. And I don't know if I'm not going to put Hawaii in that category based off them just beating Stanford, because I think Stanford might actually just be really bad.
I mean, I think everybody's forgotten that Stanford is in the ACC along with Cal, and those two teams could be very.
Why are they not going to go rejoin the Pac-12 like all these Mountain West teams are doing? Just go back and be a part of it. I'm sure they'll welcome you back with open arms.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
We can rewind.